We're live. I get to do a good one tonight now after a win. About time.
Finally, they did it for us.
Hopefully the Leahona Wi-Fi doesn't disappoint.
Oh, we might not be live.
We're live on YouTube. Twitter's messed up, so we might not be live on Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
Twitter has been messed up all day. It only shows up in like a broadcast form. It's completely messed up. Been dealing that with work all day. Get in this chat right now.
Let's get the YouTube going. Gotta get the YouTube up. I think YouTube's what grabs the peeps.
Rob dropping 30 in Waco. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, that's what you wanted to see, Carter.
YouTube backend ready to roll.
Okay, let me get the link tweeted out, and then we can get rocking and rolling here.
Get in this chat. Get in this chat. Get in this chat. Shout out Alex Beach in the chat right now. We're getting Papa John's tomorrow.
Hey. Finally, we get some poppies. How happy is Papa John's right now?
Are they?
I think they're happy. I think that's a good business move for them. None of these dudes are like losing money when they do these deals. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. There we go. YouTube is up and at him. Let's get some retweets. AJ and Rob played the entire game. Didn't sit once.
Come on, keep the chat rolling. Keep the chat rolling. People are going to see me wearing a Duke shirt tonight. It's my ball shirt. That's what I wear every time I play ball.
Dookie. He's a Dookie.
They're playing right now. I'm not even going to be able to watch the game.
Yeah, because they're playing like butt cheeks Tech, I think. So I think they'll be all right.
Pitt, but yeah, same thing.
All right, we got our stuff tweeted. Same thing.
Yeah.
Let's get this, dude.
Let's get rocking and rolling. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm grabbing notes. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Get this layout fixed. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're live. We are live right now on the Field of 68 Podcast Network YouTube channel and Church Ball Pod on Twitter right now. BYU takes down Baylor. Finally, avoid a 5-game losing streak. Back on track. BYU wins 99-94, and Rob Wright's return to Waco. 30 points for Rob, 36 for AJ. They played every single minute tonight. Chase, it feels good to finally be doing one of these after a win. And also, I should start this out right now. If you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on audio afterwards, I am coming to you live from a church building right now, playing church ball tonight. So
hey, everyone hit a salute for Carter's background real quick. We got the American flag. I think that's that. Is that like for an Eagle Scout Court of Honor? Is that one of those? I like the topper on that pole.
Scout's honor.
Man, it just feels good to finally do one of these after a win. It's been a long time. And boy, did we need it badly. Did this team need it badly? Did this fan base need it badly? Did this coaching staff? Everyone needed this badly. This is how I'll start. This is the first time I had fun watching them. And I think they honestly had fun playing for the first time in like maybe a month. Even that's like those 2 Utah games were like, you never really felt amazing. Yeah, you smoked Utah. Utah's garbage. And they just didn't, they didn't perform like how we wanted. This finally felt good, especially that stretch there in the second half. They get up to a 17-point lead. They try to blow it. But in that moment when they're going on those runs, they're getting steals, they're causing turnovers. They're in transition. I mean, AJ's unstoppable. Rob's getting to the paint. He's finishing everything. That was the most fun I've had watching this team in months, since probably the Wisconsin game. It was a brief stretch, and I know, look, they nearly blew this game, and Baylor gave them all they could there at the end. But man, like, I texted you immediately, like, this is who BYU can be. This is this team that at its peak, and they are better than just about anyone when they play like this. All right. And that's why we've been so frustrated. That's why this has been so hard. Tons of problems tonight. We're not going to this is not a straight glaze episode. We have tons to talk about, both ends of the floor. But gosh, it was fun tonight, man. It finally felt really fun.
It was fun tonight because you just saw how you felt real chemistry on the floor. You felt the actual energy. This is what we talked about. And I don't want to hear any of the, this isn't a winning program if we're having to talk about effort levels. Well, that's where BYU is right now. We do have to talk about effort levels tonight because it was there. You could see, Chase, I texted you like at the under 4 timeout in the second half where it's just like, it was just so enjoyable seeing everybody crash the glass and just – there was just an extra bit of effort. And sure, that probably helps when you're making shots and you're getting defensive stops and when you're winning the turnover battle by a ton in this game and you're getting out in transition. But this is what we thought this team could be. This team can get out in transition. This team can put Baylor on its heels, drive into the paint at will. They went 3 for 19 from 3 tonight, Chase. 3 for 19. Shot 15% from 3. And they scored 99 points on this Baylor team. That is what this team is. This is what we've talked about, where if BYU, they don't need to have a great three-point shooting night. Don't settle. Go to the paint. Attack, attack, attack. We saw that tonight. Even you see a guy, everyone's going to point to AJ and Rob, 30, 36. Moo Davis, 12 points, 3 of 6, going into the paint. And you know what also tells you that story? 6 of 7 from the free throw line. He was getting to the line. He was attacking. And Chase, I can't believe we've gone this long without mentioning it. Mboup.
Oh, baby. Mboup. It was revolutionary, Carter. The small ball lineup with Mboup at the 5 changed this game. The best runs were with him on the floor. This is an instance where plus minus tells a bit of the story and really helps our narrative. Mboup plus 12 tonight. Several dudes in the negative. Obviously Rob and AJ at 5, they played the entire game, so they're just going to end up with the final score, the deficit there, and the difference. Mboup was incredible. The things that he did defensively, the way he's able to switch on anyone, and it doesn't do a single thing there's no mismatches on this team. Rob was playing incredible defense, I thought, for the most part. I was really impressed with those two, especially Mboup, and then the rebounds, Carter. I mean, he rebounds. It's so refreshing because we just haven't seen a dude attack the glass like this really all season. And to see him do it, even when he's undersized, I know this Baylor team isn't the biggest. They don't have a really true center. Najee is, I mean, the G League curse is real, and he is not good and barely played tonight. But like Yesufu and some of these cats, like Powell, those are legit rebounders. Mboup was right there with him, pulled down 10 tonight. 4 of them offensive. I thought he really learned, especially towards the end. You could see he was getting more comfortable and was smarter. He was staying straight up. I mean, the fact that he played, Carter, 27 minutes, which has got to be his career high, was the first man off the bench. It kind of vindicates everything we've been saying. It was really good to see. He played all those minutes, Carter, and guess what his biggest problem's always been? Foul trouble. He just does stupid things. Only 1 foul tonight. He was really smart about staying straight up, and he wasn't perfect. I mean, the guy still got by him. He's still a bit oversized when he gets on these guards, but man, I thought he was great tonight. Never mind that 3. I don't want to hear it.
I didn't see it.
Everything else was great.
Yeah,
did he take a 3?
I don't think he took a 3. I'm looking at the stats.
I don't think
it says 0 for 1, but I think his foot was on the line. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, these Baylor guys.
I think they got the wrong player. Messed up quite a bit this year. Yeah, that wasn't a Mboup 3. But no, Chase, you know what else I loved about this game was when you've watched these other great teams play BYU recently, Houston, Texas Tech, Arizona, and even Kansas. The thing that they kept doing in those games is the kill shots and the deflating plays, where tonight BYU was finally the team making those plays. A few of those times it was from Mboup rebounds, offensive rebounds, and just especially the one I remember is about 5-6 minutes left in the second half, and Baylor had a bit of momentum. BYU, Baylor defends well. BYU puts up the shot. Mboup gets the rebound, kicks it back out, and then I think it was Rob came down with the and one right after that to make it like 78-68, if I remember correctly. I don't have my notes right here, but just having those game-changing plays, making those momentum plays. And you know what? Half the time, yes, you do have to make the shots. I get that. That's 50% of the other 50% of it is just being there on the glass. He played 27 minutes tonight, Chase, as an undersized 5 and had 10 rebounds. If he plays 30-plus minutes in a game, he is going to average 12 rebounds a game in college basketball.
Easy.
That's how good of a rebounder he is.
Go look at it, like early season when he was getting more legit minutes and then there was a big lull. He played 15 minutes and he'd have a double-double. And we'd be like, whoa, like this dude's unreal. It feels so good to feel vindicated with that take, and also just good to see him play and really fit on this team, man.
Well, what's so weird is we mentioned it sometimes, like, hey, we like to see the undersized, have Mboup at the 5, and especially when you're coming from behind, go with the undersized group, spread the floor a little bit and go. But I really didn't think that Mboup coming in would be at the expense of Keba, and we can get into that here in a minute, but it's just refreshing to see, man. You feel for Keba because something's got to be going on with him right now. But Mboup stepped up in a major way tonight, man.
Major way. The rebounds are huge. The biggest thing, we've been talking about it for a couple months, especially here in conference play. He just brings energy. He brings this tenacity, this fire that is contagious. The way he defends, the way he attacks the boards. It's not always perfect. It's not always pretty. But just simple stuff like him just being so aggressive and just getting up on these guys and just having that twitchy, like he just wants to be everywhere all at once. And he killed it, man. He was awesome. This is what we got to do next. We mentioned Mboup. Hey, Rob Wright. Oh, against your old team, he's getting the chance. He's getting the boos. His old coach is being petty in press conferences. Man, that's got to feel so good for him. I'm so happy for him because I know he wanted this. He was absolutely locked in both ends of the floor. Like I already mentioned a little bit, his defense, I thought he was incredible. I didn't think he was perfect. I know he got beat a few times, but man, all 40 minutes, didn't look tired for a second. The way he attacked, and that's the thing, like most of it was in the paint, made 2 threes, but everything was in the paint. 4 steals for him. I mean, he was just tenacious, and the way he would get steals like in the backcourt too, like they'd get rebounds, he wouldn't give up on the play, right? Just ripping it from dudes. He was brilliant in transition tonight, Carter. The whole team was. I mean, it was so good to see them finally make some passes that we talked about here a few pods ago. I'm so happy for that dude. He deserved a night like this. Absolutely popped off, career high against his old squad in his old building with all the crap that he had to hear and all this stuff, man. Shout out Rob Wright. That was awesome.
This is what I was waiting for.
There we go.
What I was waiting for. AJ's the best player, but Rob is the most important from Alex Beecher in the chat. Always delivering from Alex. That's it. This is it. This is what I mean. Chase, how many times have we texted each other being like, maybe this is the game like Colorado last season. Maybe this is the game. This felt more like a blend of like Colorado, West Virginia last year. I think they did figure out some things. We'll get into that in a minute because great question here is, did we find something tonight or is Baylor just not a good team? I want to get to that right after this. I want to keep talking about Rob for a second because he was going into this environment, hostile environment, and man, he was, when there was a moment there, BYU was down 11 or so in that first half. Things were looking bleak. BYU couldn't stop a nosebleed, couldn't stop a parked car, and yet Rob stayed cool, calm, and collected. And he was even making some big steals, especially the one off the inbounds, rips it away, goes up for the layup. He was so good in transition. He was so good at picking his spots, and he was decisive when he was going into the paint tonight, Chase. He wasn't just going off 1 foot. He was always going off 2 feet tonight, always kept his head up, and then just blowing by dudes tonight. He was phenomenal across the board. So happy to see that too, especially after Scott Drew's salty comments in the press conference saying, oh, he agreed to the contract, it didn't agree, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Scott, Let's see. I'm sure another player on your current roster agreed to a deal somewhere else, and then they came to your
Yeah.
school. This is how college basketball works. This is just how it is. And Andrew Franklin nails it in the chat here. Just guard play in college, man. You gotta have it. And this is what we've been preaching and banging the drum for all year. This Rob can take this team to a whole nother level. I just love how he was, even when it was at its darkest moment in this game, he was still calm and kept this team settled down and calmed down. Meanwhile, AJ was still just putting up monster numbers and just getting at will tonight. Shout out my uncle Chris, who was at the game in Waco tonight. He texted me. I have the timestamp right here. He texted me with 18:30 left in the first half and goes, AJ's going for 40 tonight. It's so obvious. Got to give him a shout out.
Shout out, Chris. What a call. Yeah, I mean, we're talking so much about Rob, and deservedly so. AJ was absurd at 36 points, 14 of 20 from the field. I mean, just outrageously efficient, dude. I mean, 1 of 4 from 3. That's it. And shout out my dad.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, don't read your dad's comment and blow past it. Your dad's in here commenting.
Yeah, you pull. Who wanted it more? He's right, man. I mean, that was the difference. The guy knows his ball. But AJ, 36, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Only 1 turnover from him tonight, and a steal. Man, I mean, that's silly stuff, dude. And when we talk about number 1 pick, man, Peterson's awesome. I watching him in person in Allen Fieldhouse was crazy. Unbelievable. One of the most pure shot makers I've seen with my own eyes live. But AJ advances the number 1 pick in my eyes completely. I mean, just look at tonight. Obviously, he plays the freaking games. That's a whole nother thing that you can get into. But the stuff he was doing, man, those step throughs, the way he was seeing the court tonight was perfect. I mean, and Baylor tried to crash, to throw these doubles, and he was getting so comfortable. And the attacking the basket stuff, man, like early on, it was a lot of like the turnaround, those 10-footers. He was canning all of them. Second half, it was all to the rim. The way he was finishing, drawing fouls. I mean, it was, dude, I mean, this was one of the best complete games. I know he had the 43-point performance against Utah. 14 of 20 is just silly. And, man, it's a joy to watch him play basketball on this team. And when he's clicking, when Rob's clicking, I don't know how they lose. They tried to tonight, and we'll get to some of the bad stuff here. This is, again, we're not just going to glaze this podcast, but right now we're feeling pretty excited. They finally got a win.
But there was so much pressure on this team at that point, and they put the pressure on themselves, obviously. But there was a lot going into this game, and kind of going back to the question earlier where I can't remember what the username was. I'm blanking here. I got you right here. Did we find something tonight, or is Baylor just not a good team? I'm going with, I think they found something tonight, because we talked about this Baylor team in the preview where you can go with Ken Palm, unluckiest team, and Ken Palm, take that for what it is. But they've played close in a lot of these bigger games. I don't think Baylor is anywhere near as talented as this BYU team, but they're not a bad team. And I think they are, by the seat, as long as things maintain and they don't lose the locker room, they'll be sniffing around the bubble and everything. But getting this win on the road in Waco after 4 straight losses, there was just so much pressure on this BYU team, and they found something. They found something with Mboup at the 5, and they found something by getting out in transition, playing together, team basketball. And Chase, you nailed it. They just had fun tonight, and it was obvious, and it showed. And that's something that they can build on going forward, especially when you play against a bottom-of-the-barrel team in the conference in Colorado, really.
Yeah, and the best part is that they get to build on it. They get to get to go back home, spend a week in your own bed, and DP's got the sniffles. And we get to see them beat up on another team that is very, very bad in Colorado. Jimmer gets his jersey retired. They're in a good spot. I think, to answer the question before, like, was this, did they find something, or is Baylor just not that good? It's a cop-out. It's a little bit of both. Obviously, if you played this way, and the defense, I mean, you can't give up 94 points. It's a little bit Oklahoma State. You scored a ton, especially in the paint. So that was really good to see. But it's a bit of both.
Not just a ton. How many times have you ever seen in a college basketball game 64 points in the paint?
I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's insane. 64
It's
points in the
unbelievable.
paint and 20 from the free throw line. 84 points from inside the freaking paint, basically, if you include the free throws.
I
Like,
mean,
that
BYU
is
only made 3 threes.
3 threes.
Like, and they scored 99 points. That's crazy. I mean, that's kind of sinking in now. But I think BYU found something in the sense that they just found like their attitude. They got a little bit of like they were a little villainy tonight because obviously the booze and stuff and everything about the Rob Wright, and I could see them kind of embrace it. You know, Rob was smiling. You know, he was talking his talk a little bit and doing all that. So I think it's a bit of both. It's not. I'm not going to say we're all the way back. This was a get right game in a sense. I do think Baylor is better than what their record shows. We talked about that a ton in the preview, but this is a starting block. You get another easy one, then you get to the really tough ones. We'll see what it looks like against Arizona next week. That'll be the big indicator. But it's just so good to see them out running, rebounding, playing hard, playing solid defense. Like it's the simple things, but it's so good to see, man.
And I know we keep saying this where it's like, okay, it's back to Colorado. Like, we call back to that Colorado game of last year, but it did feel like that in the first half, where in that Colorado game last year, things were dark. BYU wasn't playing well, and you're like, what on earth is happening? And BYU had a chance to quit in that Colorado game and could have laid down, and the season really could have been over against that Colorado team. And that was there tonight in that first half, where BYU had a chance to lay down and quit. And I think just seeing that response and seeing the care and seeing them play aggressive tonight showed me a lot, that saying, okay, there actually is the fights in this team. They're not this, oh, we're gonna, weasel on by, we're gonna quit on this team, kind of, we're gonna just take the NIL money and run type team that we've seen in college basketball before. Tonight showed me a lot. I lean towards a lot of the positives. You can get to the negatives with on the defensive end and everything like that, but I lean a lot more positive tonight. Hey, shout out this comment as well from Andrew.
Hey, the get right game. I mean, put it on a t-shirt. That's awesome stuff, Andrew Franklin. Let's go. Some other points to bring up. This is just a classic kind of Richie, Richie's bad game. Richie wasn't good, blah, blah, blah. Then you look at the stat sheet, still had 15 points, had 9 rebounds. I mean, was just doing it all once again for BYU. I understand the shooting isn't there yet. 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. Didn't get a ton of good looks, but and last game was also a bad one for Richie. But the best part about him is even when he's not playing well, even when he's not good, there's first, you can never question the effort he's going to give, how hard he's going to work. And that alone keeps him on the floor, period, for pretty much any team in the country. And then when he doesn't shoot well, when he goes 6 of 14 from the field, he's still grinding for every possession, every bucket. He's getting to the lane and he's making his free throws and crashing the glass. He had several massive offensive boards tonight that, especially down the stretch when they needed them, didn't look like they were going to. They did, whatever. That just were pivotal to this game. And he played solid defense. And I'll never be mad at Richie Saunders. He's reached that status for me. He's crossed this line where I'm like, you really can do no wrong in my eyes. The 3 he took in the corner, they called it out in the broadcast. Not a good 3 because you could have run off 17 more seconds, whatever. I really don't care because they won. And I think Richie Saunders, he's on the Rushmore for me for BYU, and he continues to make impacts. 9 rebounds, 15 points. And this was one of his worst games of the season.
Absolutely. You hit it spot on. Can I get to some stats here?
Yeah, please.
That kind of tell the story of this game. I already mentioned the points in the paint, but I want to reemphasize that. 64 points in the paint. The next highest I think I've seen was Florida when they absolutely boat raced Alabama a couple weeks ago. I think they had 72. And just the fact that you scored 99 points on 3 of 19 from 3. 99 points. Just cannot get over that, but I love that. But the other point I want to make is, so Baylor had, let's see here. BYU had 5 turnovers. Baylor had 13, right? Baylor's points off turnovers, 6. BYU's points off turnovers, 24. That's the identity of this team. It needs to be flying around, making life hell for the other team. That's it.
That is this team. Get out, run, get some steals. Also took care of the ball crazy well tonight. Only 5 turnovers. A lot of them came like in the last 2 minutes too with that press. Some of them were obviously silly and you want to avoid those, but interesting game. But 99 points on 3 threes is legitimately one of the crazier things I've actually seen. If you're Baylor, you're pretty upset with the defensive performance. But also, what are you going to do, man? I mean, you're playing against some of the best duo trio in the country.
And we going back to our preview, I also think we nailed this point where we were worried about the guards on Baylor, Yesufu and Cam Carr, and
they were
61 points combined, 37 from Yesufu, 24 from Cam Carr. They were absolutely dynamite tonight. You want to get some negatives?
Yeah, we got to do it. We got to cover it.
Let's do it.
Okay. 94 points. Always bad. Anything over 80, bad. It's college basketball. Only 40 minutes of gameplay. Not a lot of spacing. It's bad. All right. The over-under for this game was like 158. And you just can't have it. This is what killed you against Oklahoma State. And this is what's going to keep you from winning a lot of these games. Look, I know Yesufu and Cam Carr, they're nasty. Those guys were awesome, making pretty tough shots. I mean, Yesufu and some of those turnarounds, bro, pretty crazy. And he was, doing the whole Trae Young jumping into some dudes for 3-pointers and all that. But it's still too easy for these guys to get downhill into the basket on BYU. And that's what killed them to let Baylor back into it. I know they were trying to guard the 3, but man, it was just like drive-through express. Here's 2 points for you. You got to learn to stay in front of these guys. I mean, you got to be able to bounce them out. And in that one stretch where BYU went on a big run, like they were playing really solid defense, and you saw it, man. The rotations, they sent really good doubles at Yesufu, and then they recovered super well. They were keeping Baylor at bay, kind of letting them sit at that 30-foot range. Like, and Baylor made a lot of threes tonight. I mean, I think they shot, let me check here. It's like
10 of 21.
47.5% from the 3-point line. But at some point, if every team shooting well at 3 and every team's best player is having a night against you, there's a reason for that, right? And you kind of got to look yourself in the mirror. Defense was still bad, especially in that first half. You really start to be like, I mean, there needs to be some accountability here from someone, whether it's coaching staff or players, maybe both. It's got to be better, Carter. You got to be able to hold these teams at bay. And I think I'm going to say, I think that the scouting has not been great for this BYU team. We saw it a few games back when they're, going over on screens against Arizona, which is like legitimately one of the,
that was crazy.
That team that just does not shoot threes. They're letting, this is a point I'm stealing from you. Carter texted me this, and it's a really good point, but
he's stealing all my points.
Whoa. Hey.
I'm scared about the,
they let these guys get into rhythm early, because like if you're coaching staff, you gotta say, look, Cam Carr, Yesufu, these are their dudes. And the reason Baylor didn't win tonight, and the reason they haven't won a lot of these games, because everyone else on that team, for the most part, extremely unreliable. All right. Those guys they have nothing else to work with for the most part. So you got to tell this team, like, these are the focus, man. Like, this is what he likes to do. This guy likes to go left. This guy likes to go with this move. When they send a screen, I just don't see that with BYU. They seem lost. They seem like they're feeling it out in the first, 10 minutes. And all these teams, they have a great first 10 minutes against BYU, because they're just, the scouting, I don't think is there. And because they're letting them do whatever they want. These guys are getting to their spots, and then they get more and more aggressive over the game because they start to feel it, because they're already in rhythm. They get free. Their first 5 possessions are pretty much free, because BYU's like, we're coming in blind. It feels like. I don't want to call out too much. I have no idea who's doing the scouting, but it really just seems to me like they don't have a solid defensive game plan going into these games, and they're left adjusting. When we see them get aggressive, when we see them, start to finally pick up the pace, okay, then that's how they get back in these second half games. Maybe you're a second half team because you don't make adjustments until the second half because you didn't do the work beforehand to figure out what this team's going to do. At this point, every team has played, 25 games? You should be able to know these guys' tendencies, what offenses they're going to run. You got to learn this stuff in the week leading up to the game. All these teams get hot starts against BYU. I think that has at least part of something to do with it, Carter.
Yeah, and you could say it's part of that and part effort, but at the same time, I kind of lean towards sometimes the defensive game plan isn't really there, like we talked about with Arizona a couple weeks ago going over on screens, and then Alabama going under on screens against LeBaron Philon and Mark Sears in the Sweet 16. It's like, what on earth are you smoking there? And when you have those examples, that's where you finally find that consistent thing a little bit, the constant. I think you nailed it because you're stealing my points, Chase. You're stealing my points. But yeah, it's true. But it's true. BYU is sagging off early. Once again, we see people tweet out, "Oh, BYU, everyone has a career game against BYU. Everyone this, that, and the other." Okay, look, does that happen against top tier teams in college basketball? Yeah, dudes get up for that game, obviously. But if it happens every single game, that's not a coincidence. Guess what? Dudes get up for Duke. Dudes get up for Carolina. Dudes get up for Kentucky and Kansas. And guess what? A lot of guys have good games against them, but it doesn't happen every single game. That's not a coincidence that it's just BYU. It's because, like you said, they're letting them get in rhythm early. And Chase, you've played basketball. Anybody who's played a lick of basketball, when you get going, you find your groove early. It doesn't matter. If you're hot and you're a good basketball player, it doesn't matter if a hand's in your face. You're going to drain that shot. We've seen that with AJ DeBansa. Guess what? Who cares a hand's deep in his face? And now he can do that in or out of rhythm. That's why he's so special. But you see this with guys where it's like, hey, man, once I'm going, you're not stopping this train. And once that train's left the station, it's gone. You can't stop it. And then we've seen that time and time and time and time and time again with this BYU team. And it's right. You nailed it where it's out of the gate early, where it's like, okay, what adjustments? Why is it always the second half being made for these defensive adjustments? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so that has to change immediately because someone in the chat here, I can't find the comment, nailed it, is this kind of game's not replicable against top Big 12 teams. Like when they play Arizona next week, guess what? If you go down 13 or whatever it was in the first half early tonight in Tucson, you're not winning that game. If you come out early like you did against Arizona last time and go over on screens and let them get to their spots in the mid-range and let Burries and Bradley get in total control and total rhythm and drop 40 in the first half, guess what? You're losing that game. So there are things that they need to adjust. They can do this, and I believe they will, but that was really, really, really glaring tonight.
It's glaring. I mean, and you kind of touched on it. This is the Big 12, man. Like there is elite talent almost everywhere. Everywhere, dude. Like you go into Baylor, you know, 13th place in the Big 12. I don't know if they dropped after this. You know, they've won only like 2 or 3 conference games. Dude, Yesufu and Carr are legit talents. Like those dudes are going to get drafted. And like Yesufu's hitting insane shots. Like this is how this conference is, right? Unless you're playing like Colorado, then you don't really need to worry about one guy. Even Utah, the worst team in the conference, like they let those 2 guys, those 2 guards, Terrence Brown and whoever else it was, smoke them in that first matchup because they weren't ready for them. And they're letting these dudes go for it. So I'm with you, man. I think the prep needs to be better. Preston Edgen Davis was 6 of 7 from the line, actually. So not 100%. Gotcha.
I want to point to people talking about Keba in the chat. I want to get to him real quick. Abdul Ahmed, I'll just quick comment here. He's just not good enough to play in this lineup. And in these big time games, he's just not on the same. He's just not there. He's not quick enough. He struggles in defensive rotations. On offense, I'm just not at this point. I'm not really sure how much he offers to this offense. I'm just going to call it like it is, Chase. I just don't see it with him. And now that you see what you got in Mboup, bringing the energy, Ahmed's not bringing the energy on the floor. I'm not sure what necessarily he offers you. So that's the Ahmed talk. With Keba, I think something's got to be going on because it's not the same aggressiveness. It's not that same look in his eyes like, I am here to kill these other guys. I am going to send this ball into the 7th row. He kind of looks like he's really avoiding contact. You've seen this multiple times in the last few games where he would get the ball underneath, and usually that's Keba. He's going up and yamming that thing and making the, about to break the basketball. I mean, he broke a goal in Madison Square Garden, for crying out loud. And then lately he's just going up for these soft layups. And when he's had the ability to dunk on dudes, I think something might be going on. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much because that's not our place and everything, but he's avoiding contact, and he's not that, he doesn't have that same aggressiveness. And on the defensive end, it's shown. He's gotten beat many times. And so once again, I'm not sure what's going on, but I hope things get better for him, because when he's fully healthy and at his peak, he is an unbelievable player and a much needed player on this team going forward.
Still much needed. As much as we love the Mboup stuff, I think that was pretty. I think Mboup solidified himself as the 6th man, but it was still also matchup dependent. Baylor's small. I mean, their tallest guy was about Mboup's size, or 6'9" or so, and so Mboup was able to hold his own and rebound really well. When you play Arizona again, you need Keba. There are going to be plenty of games where Keba makes a massive impact. But I'm with you. He's not himself right now. I really don't know what it is. Was it maybe, he's always he put an arm sleeve on like second half or something. He's always got his hand taped up with something. He definitely had a concussion a couple months ago, and Boston, and he came right back. He didn't miss the next game. So, who knows? Like, we're not speculating. Also, a lot of his minutes got cut with the addition of Abdullah Ahmed. How did he feel about that kind of thing? I don't know. Again, there's many reasons that could attribute to it, but they need him to be back. They need him to play like his old self again, because they need his presence at the rim. Part of the reason BYU is getting killed in the paint and letting these dudes go to the rim is because they're used to having their safety blanket, Keba, pack in every shot against the backboard. And they need that.
And that's why I don't think, like, when we talk about like, oh, what's going on with the defensive scouting in these games, that's why it's not all coaching, because there's multiple layers to this. Of one, you can say the effort point, and then the defensive scouting, but also, like you said, like, when you don't have a rim protector in college basketball, it makes your life 10 times harder on the defensive end. And teams feel like when they go to the paint, right now with Keba, with what he's going through, guys aren't scared. And that's kind of a lot of what rim protection is not just having the flashy blocks and everything, is are dudes intimidated to go into the paint and face you. And look, with Ahmed and Keba right now, and with the BYU bigs, like, they're not intimidated by them at the moment. That could change. Maybe Keba needs to get healthy or whatever's going on. I hope he gets better. I hope all is well. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Me either. But come back to us, Keba. We need you.
We need you. We need you bad. Just Mboup love in the chat. Just Mboup love.
You love to see it. You love this.
We've been waiting so long for this, Chase. We've been waiting so long for this.
We've been saying it since last year. We used to watch this kid warm up when he was redshirting, didn't play, but he would be out there shooting after the guys went to the locker room. It'd be just him and an assistant coach or a ball boy, whoever. And we saw the work he put in, and I'm so excited to see him get his opportunities and make legit impacts in these games. 27 minutes for the guy. Awesome.
And even last year, and especially going into this offseason, the coaching staff was raving about him, and you can clearly see he's been putting in the work and everything. But and then it raises the question, like, does he get into the starting lineup, or do you just, hey, let's bring that energy off the bench? Like, do you run him at the 5 in the next game? I think Colorado would probably be, I haven't done my prep yet, but it would probably make sense to do it in a game against Colorado. I don't know if you can necessarily get away with that in a game against Arizona and Tucson with their bigs.
You can't. So yeah, like I said, they're gonna they're gonna need more Keba minutes than 15, which is what they did tonight.
Yeah, and even then, like, I know I dogged on Ahmed right now. Like, he's going to have to play in that Arizona game. All three of these bigs are going to have to play against Arizona next week in Tucson. They're going to have to play big, important minutes. And, like, hey, if you're going through something right now, rest. Just don't screw it up for March. Don't screw it up against the bigger opponents right now. And this isn't Darren Peterson advice. This is advice for Keba.
I'll send it to him. I'll make sure he knows.
Yeah, well, Peterson's doing the opposite. He's resting against the good teams.
No, not. You're right.
Sorry, flu-like symptoms.
Flu-like symptoms.
Chase, you had
I have
flu-like
that every
symptoms
day.
on the last pod.
I had the flu. I still got up for the pod, Carter. I
Hey,
could have
remember when
easily been like, look, I'm not playing. I'm not doing this, but frick, man, I love this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and show up for it. Yeah.
Remember like Eastern Washington pod earlier in the year? I sounded like Dickie
Dude.
V and Louis Carnesecca had a kid.
That's the difference. You and DP, man. That's the difference.
Yeah. Can I talk about that for a second? I'm going to have to hop out here in just a couple minutes. But one last point I really want to make is I'm back. I'm full. Like I was wavering on my AJ number 1 draft pick stuff because just how talented Darren Peterson is. And as I get it. And look, as a polished basketball player, Darren Peterson's the guy. That what he can do, the shot making, like you mentioned, just unfreaking believable. But man, I don't want a guy that is, look, flu-like symptoms, going through injuries, whatever it may be, whatever he's got going on. I think there's a couple of these games he could have played, if we're being honest. I think if you have cramps, you're going to have someone working on you on the sideline, getting you ready to come back in that game. And he looked like he just didn't want to play at all. So there's weird stuff going on left and right. In a league like the NBA where that is encouraged, I don't want that. I don't want that in my organization. You got to have dudes who are playing every single night. Do you want the Kawhi Leonard stuff? Look how successful the Clippers have been, Chase. Kawhi Leonard, phenomenal player, unbelievable, 2-time Finals MVP. Clippers are going nowhere. Clippers are a disaster, especially once the suspension comes in.
They're blowing it up.
But then when you get a guy like AJ with his motor and his just nonstop, just going to the paint at will, just making it tough on defenders left and right. The shot making, I mean, his mid-range game is unfreaking believable, Chase. I also, once again, we still haven't found a good comp for AJ. Everyone's doing the Kevin Garnett. If he was this, that, and the other, he was like, if Kevin Garnett was a unicorn with wheels, that's AJ DeBanto. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. But look, man, he's 6'9". He just went 14 of 20 from the field. He's facilitating at just an insane rate. He's seeing things so clearly right now. I still said this even when it was wavering. He's going to be the number 1 pick because they're going to get him into these interviews. They're going to do the combine. They're going to do the measurements. And look, it's just impossible to turn that down as a GM. The size and everything. The attitude aside, man, like whatever going on with DP, I have no idea. I see what he plays and when he doesn't, that's it. But man, GM's not going to turn down this 6'9" dude who's doing stuff we've never seen before on a basketball. I mean, some of the stuff, dude, the footwork is flawless. It's so creative. The one where he did that high dribble, takeover. I mean, the finishing with the fouls, the understanding of the pump fakes, dude, it's unbelievable. I can't believe this guy. Can't believe he's wearing the BYU jersey.
It's insane. Hey, Chase, do you want to keep going with the chat or do you want to wrap up?
I'll keep going with some chats, man. You can.
I'm gonna peace out. I gotta get
chat.
Going.
Carter's playing. He's hooping right now, and apparently
I don't know if I'm actually
on the
hooping.
Hardwood.
So I don't know if I'm actually hooping. We'll find out. But anyhow, I gotta roll. Chat. Thank you. Be good to Chase. I don't know. You know the chat and everything. So all right, peace out, y'all.
I think I do. See you, Carter. See you, man. Chat. Let's get going. All right, time to read some of y'all's thoughts. Love to see it. Wisconsin, Illinois, and OT, Alex. I have to pull that up. Do we do an illegal stream? Do I share my screen and we watch? I'm just kidding. Scout Team 9. I forgot how good it feels to win. It's been a minute, dude. It's funny to say. It has been a minute since we've been able to talk about a W. It's been a long time. Andrew, AJ played with the flu. Back to the DP stuff. Yeah, he did. Scout Team 9. Rob Wright having a career high tonight says a lot about him. And I think it does. You could just see it in his eyes. The way he was focused, and the most impressive part was on the defensive end as well. Man, showed out. I'm so happy for him. Let's see here, y'all. Keep the chats comments. Kind of slowing down in here. Shout out Chase's bro-in-law. Is the big three slowly becoming the big two? Richie did put up 15, but went 0 of 5 on 3. Yeah, we probably need to do a little deep dive, get checking the stats. Richie's from 3 lately has not been good. And the Kansas game was unbelievable from him, and that's probably the one thing holding him over. But in the last month, I'd reckon he's shooting somewhere closer to low 30%, maybe even worse outside of that Kansas game. But what I kind of said before is he does everything else so well. And who else could you possibly try to replace him with on this team? And that's not me trying to bag on anyone else on the team or anything, but 9 rebounds and getting these clutch moments. We thought he had a bad game against Utah the second time. We talked a lot about that and how he was going to bounce back from that and all, but everything else he did was so important. And it was that first game in Salt Lake. Like, he was like, we're not going to lose this game. And it was really close, but he willed them to a win, man, getting to the free throw line, grabbing rebounds. And he's still part of the big 3. And he's still averaging, despite all this stuff, again, 15 points. Like, he's still high teens. I think he's like 19 or 18 points still. Teams are also really, really focusing on him. And they said in the broadcast, they talked to Scott Drew. Was it 23 years at Baylor? Unbelievable. National championship coach. When he was telling them that he thought Richie Saunders was the most important player on the team. And so they absolutely keyed in on him and did their best to slow him down, which is wild because if you're like, hey, we got to slow down 15, and then you look across the court and there's number 3 hitting 36 points, 14 to 20, just hitting every shot in the book. And then you have number 1 out there just taking you to the paint and breaking you down on the dribble. It's just tough. And you think about how many games they should have won probably, but I'm still in on Richie. Like we kind of said, I'll never turn on that dude. Gamora says, KY tried the 40-minute AJ and Rob boss move. Just need to get Richie at 40 as well and Final Four secured. Yeah, Richie played 36. Why not just keep him in the whole time? Did AJ or Rob even look tired there at the end? Because to me, I thought they were chilling, man. And they were playing tough D. Going against the best of the best here. Scout team, Richie goes through cold spells. He absolutely does. He's so impactful everywhere else, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. CJ Smith, this is a really good point. Rob wasn't just a great scorer tonight. This was perhaps the most efficient I've seen him all season. Wasn't forcing anything and stepped up whenever it was needed. An incredible point. And the one thing we've been saying about Rob Wright all season is, man, like if he could just finish at the rim at a decent clip, like this guy people would be talking about him a lot more as one of the best point guards, maybe even the best point guard in the country. But he's just struggled with those bunnies. Tonight, it felt like he made everything. I think he shot like 50% from the field. Was he 12 of 21? So over 50% from the field, which is incredible. I couldn't even count those losses in my head because I just felt like he was making the biggest shots. It's because they were in the biggest moments, and he understood it tonight. He clearly wanted this one so bad. This is the only time they see Baylor, and to do it in Waco, in that building in front of those fans, and it was huge. And again, to this commenter's point, CJ Smith, it was in the biggest moments, and Carter touched on it when they were making that run and Baylor was really getting up ahead. Rob steadied the ship, and he got in the paint, and he finished it out. Alex, my wife did not like my mood after these losses. Same, probably. CJ Smith again says Richie used all his heat trying to will us back in the KU game. Yeah, he might have emptied the tank. He might be recharging right now. That Kansas game was, to see that in person too, I was very lucky and fortunate to go. But the Richie stuff was crazy. Alex says Rob winding up the student section was hilarious. Yeah, that's the stuff, man. That's the hey, I'm a bad freaking dude. Like, this team needs that attitude a little bit. Not like dirty, not playing like full Draymond Green type villain stuff, but just a little bit of that, man. A little bit of attitude on these cats. That was a problem with last year's team. They were so soft the first half of that season, and then they kind of got this like, hey, man, like, I remember like Keba's waving up to like the student section, UCF, right? And they're waving goodbye to like the Arizona fans. after they're booing the crap out of them after that controversial call. Like just a little bit of that attitude goes a long way. Long way. The Rob AJ chemistry is fun to watch. Yeah, they talked about it they mentioned it like 10 times on the broadcast, how they room together, they work out together, they're best buds, man. And when they get going, the 2-man stuff, and I mean it's it's some of the most fun I have watching basketball. To see it in BYU, the BYU uniform is crazy. One Lime Lemon says, is Dawson Baker going to be back next year, or is he out of eligibility? I believe he is granted another year, Lime Lemon. So that is good news for Dawson. Whether or not he decides to take it is a different question. We'll see what he does. I have no idea, but my best guess, I think he does. I think he closes out his college career strong. I think he wants another crack at it, and I think he has a chance to be an impactful player on another really good BYU team. So I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to come back. I hope he does too, man. I'd love to see him. Ride or die with Richie, yes, sir. Richie does a lot more than shoot from threes. Rebounding underrated. Absolutely, Alex. Where's the sweaty dude? Where'd he go? Is it crazy that Carter's hopping on here commenting that from his CarterCast account? It's kind of crazy. Lemon Lime, I heard that Xavion is hurt. Do we know what happened and whether it was in a game? I don't think he's that hurt. I think that he's redshirting. They're saving his eligibility. I think they kind of, with the Ahmed edition, kind of realized that he was just going to not have any minutes anyway. So they're going to save him a year of eligibility and let him be a redshirt freshman. Or I guess, was it redshirt sophomore? Redshirt freshman sports-wise next season. I don't think he's hurt. He's playing practice squad. He's giving them valuable minutes on the scout team and stuff, I think, in practice. Gamora, AJ with 7 assists, Rob with 1 assist, AJ as point guard. It's an interesting point. Rob had 3 assists, not that it really matters, but he had a bit more than 1. His best stuff was in the open court and those fast breaks tonight. But AJ just gets so much attention, and he has the benefit of there's always going to be someone open when AJ Devansta has the ball. It's just he's got so much gravity to him, and you have to, if you're defending him, give him attention from multiple guys, or he will absolutely smoke you. He will kill you if you don't throw multiple bodies at him and give him all your attention. So he has the benefit of seeing open dudes, but what's really, really good about his game is he's just developing the knack of looking for them, finding them, and then giving them good passes. The best part and the thing that I love is Rob as point guard still. And the point AJ stuff we see in spurts, but that stuff really usually comes from the wing with AJ. It's not him really creating from the top of the key typically. It's him getting in that action, getting the mismatch he wants, and then finding the guy. CJ Smith, am I the only one who prefers the Xavier minutes over the Beto minutes? Beto minutes been tough. Don't know what to tell you. Only 4 tonight. KY knew to not go all in on him tonight, but they're going to need him. And, there's going to be nights when we see him come in and we're going to be like, all right, well, this is it. And they're going to need his big body to play against some other big bodies. So we'll see. Xavion's redshirting. He's not playing the rest of this season. It's not going to happen. So it's going to be Beto. We ride or die with him. Yeah, and he's one of us, so we're going to ride. Carter's on the bench in church ball right now. Carter's probably getting in a fight in church ball. He's probably talking his talk, doing a little Rob Wright up there. I've never seen Carter ball, to be completely honest with you guys. I don't know what it would look like. I'm guessing he's shooting. I'm guessing he's got like some savvy moves. A little bit of that veteran in him. A little Manu Ginobili-ish. Boris Diaw. Like pesky. Plays a little inside out. I haven't seen the shot, though. That could be broken. Randolph Childress, ACC legend, said Carter's jumper's broken. So take that as you will. All right, gang. Chat's slowing down. So We're gonna answer this last one, and then we're gonna let y'all get to it. This is the first time we've had a game end this early in who knows how long, especially on a weeknight. I know some of these Saturday games have ended early, but man, it feels like every time they play in a weeknight, I'm going to bed at midnight. Gamora, explain Davis to me. Nothing ever stands out in his stats. Not a lot of assists, steals, blocks, points, or really anything. Plenty of missed threes. Yeah, plenty of missed threes. He's not shooting a good clip at all. I think I just checked. Let's see here. I'll double it. Under 30% of the season from three. He has hit some big ones, some big moments, but tonight he was 0 for 5? 0 for 3. The thing that he was brought in for was his defense. I mean, that was the plan behind it, to be a Mboup Mag kind of role. Mboup Mag was an amazing shooter, so that's a little bit different, but he was brought in to play defense, and I thought he did a good job tonight. There's sometimes he just isn't as good, and I think that's a little bit effort-based or whatever. But his impact typically comes away from the stats. Would you like to see him record more? Yeah. He was hitting free throws tonight in the clutch when they actually really needed it. So that was good to see. There's some moments when he guards the best player that look really, really good. Some are better than others. But his stuff is meant to be away from kind of those big stats. But we need more from him. 100%. I'm not trying to give him some excuses, but he's the kind of guy that stays a little bit unsung and plays some solid D. Maybe hits the three every once in a while. Right now he needs to be better. And he did hit some critical free throws at the end. I mean, he might be the best free throw shooter. I mean, at this point, some of these guys still are missing ones that they should be making. Absolutely. And he wanted the ball at the end, which says a lot about a guy. So, and Jen Smith, yeah. So Carter equals Adam Sandler. Yeah, he probably looks exactly like that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I mean, down to the fit and everything. He's probably dressed like him too. And I mean that with love, Carter. All right, gang. You all rock. Go Cougs. Good to finally see a win. Carter and I will be back with a preview for Colorado. That will not be a particularly extensive one. You always got to watch out with these Big 12 teams, and we will be excited to kind of talk about, preview that. BYU heads back to Provo and gets to get another get right game here. Hopefully build on what they've built here. It is Valentine's Day. I suggest, fellas, maybe skip out on this one. You know, maybe it isn't worth it to watch BYU beat up on Colorado. I don't know. Take that with what you will. Just protect the marriages, protect the relationships the best you can. As always, follow all the socials at Church Ball Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're on it all, man. The YouTube will always be posted here on the Field of 68 podcast network. Check out everything else the Field of 68 doing. Our guy Carter is doing a bracketology show, Fielding the 68. He's grinding, man. He has to go there. He's got to talk about some of these mid majors. He's got to figure out who's going to be these 16 seeds, man. He's put in work. A lot of talk about BYU. It's a big, obviously, point of interest on the show, where they're at seeding wise. Obviously falling down a few lines. Anyway, it's a good show. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Chase_Rogers0, at Carter B8, at Church Ball Pod on everything. And we'll see you all next time. And in true Carter fashion, bye-bye.